What is up, boys? My name is Berate, and I would like to say that Valorant is the most balanced out of the tactical shooters out there currently. However, that doesn't mean that the balancing is perfect. So in this video, I'm going to simply be going over what agents I believe need some reworks, need some buffs, need some nerfs, and putting them on the view farm that is the tier list. Now, I swear, I can make a video on any topic under the sun, but the second that I put it on a tier list, it instantly gets like double or triple the views. So I think I've found the method, guys. Anyways, let's take a look at the tiers real quick. New agent / full rework. This is a tier fully reserved for agents that I believe are completely and utterly useless and need a full rework, like the kind that Yoru got back when Yoru first came out. Just a full agent rework where they change everything about the character. The next tier below it is 1 to 3 changes. It's just a couple of changes here and there. They are pretty big changes, like major buffs or major changes, but you're not swapping out the agent for a whole new one. Next up is buffs. These are agents I believe need some buffs. Agents that are a little bit weak in the meta right now, that need a little something, and I'll go into my ideas for the agents once we get to them. Nerfs. This is just the opposite of buffs. Agents that I think are a little bit too strong, that need a couple of nerfs. Spoiler, there's not going to be that many characters in that tier. When it comes to game balancing, my philosophy is buff instead of nerf. I'm a fan of buffing the weak characters instead of nerfing the strong characters, unless something is really broken, but that's just me. And then the last tier is probably going to be the most popular tier, which is 0 changes. Agents that I think are fine the way they are. Don't need really any changes in either direction, and shouldn't really be on the chopping block. Let's get into it. Astra. I'm not going to lie. I would be down for some Astra buffs. I think we're at the point in the game now. We're giving Astra all of her stars back from release is good, but I also think that the suck should be more powerful. Like, if we look at agents like Deadlock, right? If we look at agents like Deadlock, she throws her ability and you're stuck there and you're stuck. You just have to sit there, right? And she can kind of throw that on reaction, right? Astra has to actively set up her star preemptively, and then when someone does get sucked, they can just knife out, walk out of it. It's not that good. And when you get hit, you get vulnerable. Whoop-de-doo. ISO can do that for free. Well, not for free. I mean, it costs 150 credits, but you guys get the idea. Honestly, I think you shouldn't be able to walk out of the Astra suck. That's just my idea for an Astra buff. I think it would make her a lot more scary because you would actually have to plant your opponent in place. I don't think you should be able to walk out of the Astra suck. It would make her really strong in post plants, and I think that would give Astra the push she needs to be, viable in solo queue. Because right now, Astra, you need a coordinated team to work off of. Just make it so that you can't get out of the suck. It's not a major, it's not a major buff, but it's something. Breach. Honestly, I think Breach is completely fine the way he is. I couldn't think of a single change that we would give to Breach that wouldn't either make him completely overpowered or make him completely useless. So I think Breach is fine the way it is. Good job, Riot. Brimstone is, honestly, I think give Brimstone a buff. So Brimstone has kind of been overshadowed by every other controller. He's the controller you get when you first install the game. So he's the first controller that a lot of controller players play when they want to play him. But the second that they get 8,000 Kingdom credits after like 6 Swift plays, the chances are they're going to be buying Omen or Clove, because those are just the two objectively better options. I think Brimstone is great for solo queue, especially if you know lineups. If you are aware of a Brimstone player named Perry2N, Senor Perry2Nice himself, he is a really good Brimstone player, and the reason why Brimstone's so good is because of the Molotov lineups. They're really good. Where Brimstone lacks, however, is he has to play with his team. He can't really break off from his team. So a buff that I would give to Brimstone is increases smoke range a little bit. I would say increases smoke range. Make it so that he can more comfortably play away from his team. Make it so that he can throw a stim for his team and then like run off and lurk and then still be able to smoke. I think that would, put him in a bit of a stronger spot without completely breaking the character. Chamber. Honestly, I think Chamber's fine the way he is. The buff that they recently gave him that removed the range limit on his trip, that was the buff that I would have given him. Let's say I was making this tier list pre-patch. I would put him in the buffs tier, and I would say remove the range limit on his trip. Riot did that. Riot removed the range limit on his trip, and I think, personally, Chamber's in a really good spot, so no changes, right? Clove. Honestly, I am down to just keep Clove the way she is. Clove is just a good character. She's reliable. She's, you know, got a really good heal, really good speed boost. Her smoke range is pretty solid. She can revive herself, very self-sufficient for solo queue. I am honestly fine leaving Clove the way she is. The only thing that I probably would do, and this is a bit of a wacko change, but I think that I would make it so that her decay doesn't bounce. I would make it so that her decay explodes on impact, because that would make it just easier to line everything up. But I know that that would kind of change the way she is, and it would ruin a couple of lineups, but if I were to make a change, that's how I would change it, but that's more quality of life. That's not really anything crazy. And plus, who's learning lineups for the Clove? Let's go. Who's actually learning lineups for the Clove decay? So 0 changes. She's fine. Cypher, nerf the living hell out of Cypher. I don't want to see a single Cypher in my game anymore. The nerfs that they did to the trips did absolutely nothing. The second you get caught by a trip, you're still getting spammed with a Phantom. You're still dying. Make it, again, Riot, make it so that a Yoru clone can break a Cypher trip. Make it so that you can break the Cypher trip with utility other than like a Shock Dart or a Raise Nade. Please, for the love of God. I am tired of throwing a Yoru clone, getting the clone caught by the trip, and then me actively still having to deal with the trip, essentially wasting the Yoru clone. Make it so that things can break the stupid trips. It's nothing crazy, Riot. Just let me break the trips, man. Next up is Deadlock. Honestly, I'm down for just leaving Deadlock the way she is. Deadlock is fine. Deadlock's really good. She does her job well. I think she's fine. Fade, on the other hand, buff Fade. Buff Fade. I would say buff the dogs. I would say that the best part of Fade's kit are the dogs. But there's no reason to use a Fade dog over a Sky dog, because it's just so much better. So I say, make the dogs have longer duration. Make it so that the dogs can clear more. You can't actively see where people are, so it's not as good as a Sky Dog or a Sova Drone, but let her have that information, because she is an information initiator. At the end of the day, she's a recon initiator. So that means that she should probably have good recon, other than the eye, because the eye is fine the way it is. I say add more range to the dogs, or make it so that the eye doesn't have a range to it, and make it so that if you're within line of sight of the eye, then you get pinged. That would also be another one. Just buff Fade. Fade needs a buff. Fade definitely needs a buff. Gecko is fine the way he is. If anything, I would probably make it so that the cooldown on his utility goes from like 10 to like 12 seconds. That's about what I would do. So very minor nerfs for thing. Buff Harbor, bro. Like, Harbor's going at the top of buffs. Actually, you know what? Harbor needs like some solid changes to make it useful. Harbor is useless. Harbor's bad. There's no reason to run a Harbor over an Omen or a Clove. Like, there's just not. Even on maps like Breeze, Viper's still going to be it, which I do disagree with. I think Harbor's better than Viper on Breeze, but that's my hot take. The Valorant community doesn't agree with me on that one. Give Harbor something. Give Harbor, make it so that you're actually scared to push through Harbor's walls. Because right now you can swing through Harbor's walls and oh, I get slowed down a little bit. Nobody cares about that. Just make it so that there's like an actual, like, make it so that if you're with, make it so that when you're in Harbor's walls, you just stop dead and you have to stay there. That would make it so that people don't push through Harbor's walls, because they just have to stop dead and stay there. Or make it so that they go really slow when they're within Harbor's walls, so they can't swing through it and then just swing back. Something, Riot, something. ISO. Honestly, the hot take, I think ISO's fine where he is. ISO was on the chopping block for nerfs, but I think in the current meta, I think he's fine. Just shoot him once and break his shield, and then just kill him. Just 2 bullet burst. 1 bullet to break the shield, 1 bullet to break his face. I think he's fine. Jet. Honestly, I would give Jet something. I think in the current day and age, we can give Jet her second updraft back. I am not opposed to giving Jet her second updraft back, especially in this meta, in this day and age. So I think Jet isn't due for a little bit of a buff. KO. KO's fine. I mean, KO's fine the way he is. I really think that KO is in a good spot. If I were to buff KO, I would make it so that his molly lasts longer, So honestly, if I were to buff KO, I'd make it so that his Molly lasts longer, just because the Molly is a little bit bad. I would make it so that the Molly doesn't do... Okay, so here's my idea for a KO buff. Right? His Molly does the same amount of damage, but over more ticks. So the Molly will still kill you if you stand in it for its entire duration, but that damage is spread out. Instead of over 4 or 5 ticks, it's out of 7 or 8 ticks, so that it stays on the ground for longer, so that you can actually stall with the Molly, and you can actually use it for post-plant lineups. Buff the baseball, man. Just buff the KO baseball. Same amount of damage, but over a longer period of time. So the goal isn't to kill anyone with the Molly, the goal is to hold space with it. That's the buff I would give to KO. Not that he needs it, but if I were to just round out the character, that's what I would do. Killjoy. Killjoy needs a buff. There is no reason to pick Killjoy over Cypher right now. Like, even on... Oh, whoa, I just scrolled everywhere. Even on Killjoy's quote-unquote maps, like Ascent and, like, Bind, right? There's no reason to run a Killjoy over a Cypher, because Cypher's just bad. I don't know what I would buff with Killjoy. Maybe I'd make it so that the turret has more health. Maybe I'd make it so that the mollies go off automatically. Just something to give Killjoy a little bit of something to... make it so she's at least on par with Cypher, that she can compete with a Cypher defense-wise. Offense-wise, just slap a turret on flank, just the same as you slap a Cypher trip on flank, you're fine. But I'm talking, like, you know, defensive capabilities. Neon. Neon's fine. Neon's chilling. Neon's balling, in fact. The thing that I would give is, I would say, give Neon her second stun back. Because, I mean... Yeah, no, give Neon the second stun back, but I don't really think it's that important to even put her in that tier, so she's fine. If I were to give her a buff, just give her a second stun back. Omen's fine. Omen is completely fine. Omen is chilling, in fact. See, I consider Omen to be the best character in the game, but not to the point where he needs nerfs. Omen isn't broken. Omen is the character that perfectly scales with your skill. I think Omen is the most balanced character in the game. Omen is good if you're good. Omen is bad if you're bad. Omen won't handhold you, but Omen won't actively hold you back. Omen scales perfectly with a player's skill, and I think that's where an agent should be. I think every agent should scale with your personal skill. No crutches, no handholdings, but also no active hindrances. I think Omen's perfect. I think Omen is a masterclass in character design. And he's just you know, character design, he's a cool character. He's really cool. But ability-wise and balancing-wise, Riot cooked on this one. I'm going to give it to Riot Games. Phoenix. Phoenix is also fine. Phoenix is sort of in the same boat as Omen, where Phoenix scales really well with your skill, except that his flash is unreactable. But, I mean, Phoenix needs the unreactable flash to be where he is right now, so that's completely fine. Raze. Buff Raze. Man, give her the satchel speed back. I'm tired of getting shot out of the air when I'm trying to do satchels. But Berate, you just need to work on your positioning with your satchels. 1, I'm not a Raze player. 2, let me do the flight satchels, man. I wanna stand on top of generator on Ascent and then make it like halfway into their spawn with 2 satchels and an ultimate. Like come on, give me something, man. Reyna. Reyna's the default character. Reyna's really bad. Reyna's only good if you have cracked out mechanics. You can have good strategy with Reyna. Doesn't mean nothing because you can't use any of her utility to execute your strategy. Reyna's just awful. Just change the character. I would be completely fine if they gave Reyna a complete and full utter rework. I am completely fine with that. Sage is also going in the category of needs a full gosh darn rework. Sage is awful. There is zero reason to play Sage nowadays. Even with the buffs that she got. Okay, I can res my Instalock Jet when she dashes out on the site from the choke point. I don't care. Sage has nothing to help herself. She has nothing to really help her team except for the heal. Her stalling isn't really that good because you can just break the wall and then there's a whole mind game there of, am I gonna push the broken wall or am I gonna rotate? Ooh, it's awful. Sage is an overglorified initiator. She's not a sentinel. It's awful. It's terrible. Just get rid of Sage and replace her with a different agent. Sorry to all the e-kittens out there. My female viewership is declining rapidly. Did I really just say all the e-kittens out? I'm gonna, you know what? I'm doing a triple backflip off the Empire State Building after this game. After this game, I have brain rot. After this recording, I'm doing a triple backflip off the Empire State Building. And to the human reviewer that's reviewing this video, no, this is satirical, this is in-game, and this is not actually happening because I'm probably going to upload a video in like 3 days. Sky. Sky's fine. Sky's fine. Sky's good. Anything I would buff Sky. I would say if Sky needs a little bit of a buff, a little bit of a something. I don't know. Make it so that the cooldown on her flashes is better, because right now her flashes don't come back. Just make it so that it has like a 50-second cooldown. Just buff Sky. Sova. I say buff Sova, honestly. I think Sova needs a little bit of a buff. Mainly to his shock darts. I think his shock darts are a little bit underwhelming. I think people need to be scared of his shock darts more, because oftentimes in high elo, what you'll see is if you just tank a Sova shock dart, you're walking away unscathed because you're probably getting healed by your Sky. If you have regen shields, it's even less of an issue because your shields come back and you're only coming out with like 20 damage. I say make Sova shock darts better. Okay, a little bit of a rework I'd give to Sova shock darts is make Sova shock darts only deal 50 damage, but have it bypass shield entirely. Just knock out 50 health from your actual health bar. Just pop, just knock it out. That would make them actually pretty scary. Yeah, anyways, Taeho. Yeah, I think Taeho's fine. Not really much to say. Taeho's fine. Okay, this is the big one. Viper needs like 1 to 3 changes to be viable in solo queue. And again, this is a solo queue tier list. This isn't for like VCT or whatever. This is just to be viable for 99% of the player base who isn't a professional. Viper needs some solid changes to be there. She needs to be able to pick up her orb. First and foremost, she needs to pick up her orb. She needs... The molly needs to actually be scary. If I run through a Viper molly, I shouldn't be coming out with a tickle on the toes and a little vulnerable for 2 seconds. Make the molly scary. Make it do some like actual damage, or make it so that you're vulnerable for like 5 seconds afterwards instead of just the piddly 2 to 3 seconds that you are now. Yeah, just give Viper something. The main one is pick up the orb. Make it so that Viper can pick up her orb again, because that was so bad. Vice, I mean, like, no one's really arguing with me here. Vice needs a buff. Vice needs a buff badly. There's no reason to pick Vice over Killjoy or Cypher. So, like, I don't know what I would buff with Vice. Just buff Vice. Okay, our third installment in the 1 to 3 changes category. Waylay. Waylay is cheeks. Waylay is awful. We need to give some significant changes to Waylay in the terms of buffs, because they just gave the worst possible character the best get out of jail free card in the game, and then they called it a day. What the heck? Just need I say more? Yoru's fine. Don't change anything about Yoru. Anyways, with all that being said, this has been Berate. I'd like to thank you all so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed the video, consider buying my coaching on Medify. I've gotten like 3 people to Immortal. I've gotten like 6 people to Ascendant. I've gotten a bunch of people out of being hard stuck. I haven't had a failure yet. All my students are either on the up and up improvement wise, or they've already hit their goals and they don't need me anymore. Yeah, if you like the information I give and the way that I present it, buy the coaching. Be sure to subscribe, join the Discord server. I'm pretty active in there. So if you want to ask me any questions, just, throw stuff in the Discord. Anyways, yeah, this has been Berate, and remember to brush your teeth today, because I know for a fact I haven't. Bye-bye.